tell us about the top 100, and how did you tell us what it is, and then tell us how in the world you were able to, how did you get that out? How did that just come out? And how were you able to break that story, basically?
So, I try to make the top 100 as dramatic as possible because I think it is dramatic. Someone could say, look, dude, it's a corporate offsite, right? Okay, true. It's a high-level corporate offsite. But what it is when Steve Jobs was alive, he would select approximately the top 100 people in the company by his definition of the top 100 most important people, not according to their rank necessarily. And there would be hurt feelings if you were
Did it cause people to leave?
I'm sorry?
You talk about that it caused hurt feelings, but was it so bad that people would leave the
No,
company?
well, no, but it would, people in corporations get upset about being included in something, not being included in something, getting an assignment, not getting an assignment.
Sure.
He knew and he wanted you to be upset if you were at this year's top 100 and not next year's top 100. There was a reason why Steve excluded you, and that's not good. But generally, this is very high level. It would be, they would go to one of a couple of resorts in the Carmel or Monterey Bay area, and they would have presentations by Steve Jobs and other Apple executives and a few outsiders over the years about what was coming down the pike at Apple. Now, this was important because for such a secretive company, generally very few people would know about all of the products that were coming down the pike. The top 100 meeting would be an opportunity for the executive management team to show a larger group of still very senior people things like the iPod for the first time, the iPhone for the first time, and so on. And it was an opportunity for people who didn't ordinarily work with each other to meet each other. The secrecy was extreme. Steve wanted people to take buses down from Cupertino, not to drive themselves. The top 100 meeting would be an opportunity for the executive management team to show a larger group of still very senior people things like the iPod for the first time, the iPhone for the first time, and so on. And it was an opportunity for people who didn't ordinarily work with each other to meet each other. The secrecy was extreme. Steve wanted people to take buses down from Cupertino, not to drive themselves. He didn't want people putting it on their calendar. He didn't want people doing email or making phone calls from the event, which of course they did because they're very busy Apple executives. They're gonna do that. They swept the room for bugs to make sure that the competition wasn't spying, and they would
with like a security force
yes,
would come in and sweep them.
Yes,
dogs and stuff.
I don't know about dogs, but whatever the state of the art is,
would have been a better sweep with dogs.
If dogs are state of the art, then they would have used it. And I do know that at the last top 100 that Steve Jobs was alive for, he prohibited conversations to go on while food servers were in the room, because those food servers, could be a Samsung executive in a, in a server's uniform. I found out about it the same way I found out about everything else in the book, by interviewing people and talking about it. I'm sure the first time somebody mentioned it to me, they assumed that it wasn't particularly interesting, or they assumed that it was known,
yeah.
But I knew it wasn't. And once I had that kernel of information, I was able to ask other people, hey, what's this top 100 thing? And they say, oh, that's blah, blah, blah. That like that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems it's so interesting. It's so typical of Apple, it seems, but it's brilliant because, I mean, these top 100 people are the most probably sought after employees in the whole company, right? And these are the rock stars, rock stars. And I'm sure, and please tell us, bringing these guys in only deepened, that loyalty, him showing them the iPod before everyone else, or showing them the iPad or whatever he showed them. I mean, that had to create just so much more loyalty amongst those top tier AAA guys.
Yeah, I think, one comment I got, if you were in the audience, you considered it a privilege. If you were asked to present, you considered it terrifying, because the presentations had to be the same quality as what Steve Jobs would do for a public keynote. So, but yeah, I think, people had a metaphorical gold star or gold leaf on their lapel for attending a top 100.